So after he was executed, I still kept my minister visit there in the Pulaski unit in Livingston. And I wrote a young man which we had been visiting. His name is Dwayne Buck. And I asked him, I wanted to continue my ministry, and I asked him to give me an inmate that did nobody come to visit. And so he wrote me and told me about Johnny Ray Johnson, and he gave me his SPIN number. So I wrote the young man, and he wrote me back and said, I knew your son, KC. He introduced me to Jesus. He said, and yes, I would love for you to come to see me. So and at that time, I started visiting him. That was the year of 2003. Because in March, my son was gone, so I kept my minister visit alive. So I went to see him. The first time I saw him, we introduced ourselves to each other. He began to tell me about his background. When he was born, his mother gave him away. He didn't know his father. So he said he never really had a home, never really had a family. So he said he never knew in him, so he was just out there. And after he was in foster homes from home to home, and when he became 17, he just found his family out in the streets. And that's how he became on drugs and just lived a life of drugs and homeless on the bridges. He said wherever he could find. So when he got in trouble, he said that was the reason. He never had nobody to even show him any kind of love. So we introduced ourselves. So the next visit that I went to see him, we felt more comfortable, talking to each other. So we was talking, and he looked at me and he asked me, I never had a mother, I never had a father, no sisters or brothers, and I never knew how to love. And he asked me, he said, will you be my mother? And I broke down and cried, and he did too. And I said yes. And he didn't have any books, he didn't have nothing to keep him occupied. And when I left, I went to the bookstore, and I bought him a Bible and dictionary, all kind of books, literature that he may read, God-given purpose, to give him hope that his life could, wouldn't be hopeless. And so when I went back, he had got the books. And there came a time he told me, when they go to rack, their feet cannot be on the ground, so his tennis shoes had worn out. You see, they had to buy all of their personal stuff. They had to buy their underwear, their socks, their t-shirts, and their hygienes and everything. They stamps if they want to write somebody. So I called my sister, and I told her, I said, this young man I'm going to see, Helen, I said, he doesn't have any shoes. And I gave him his SPIN number and the place where to send the money. So she sent him some money to get him some shoes. And after that, the next visit I went, she was with me because she lived in Baytown and I live in East Texas. She had came home. And the first thing he said when he saw my sister, he raised his feet up and let her see the new tennis that he had bought. He was so grateful for whatever that you could do for him. And from then, really and truly, to me, I loved him as a son, because whatever he needed, she and I was there for him. So therefore, we really bonded with him. And we were able to, after I sent him those books, he was so intelligent. He was truly a smart young man if he had had a chance in life. Love is the most powerful word it is. Love lifts you, love draws you. And to know that you are loved, it means a lot. So he never knew what it was to be loved by a father, a mother, a sister, a brother. He found his home out in the street. And he found a family, he says about 7 of them that did drugs. And he told us everything. So we began to go see him. I began to minister. She began to go see him. And at the end, the last 3 days, she and I were there. They give us from 8 to 5 to visit, you know. They give us 3 days. And we went all of those 3 days. And in those 3 days, you will never believe the mood that he was in and the happiness that he experienced. A man in 3 days facing death. Oh, he said, he called me Mom Dear and called her Aunt Helen. He said, oh, I'm ready. He said, because I'm going to a better place than here. He said, because this dungeon, they treat you like you're not human. And to be treated like that, being a man, that breaks his ego down. It makes you feel like you're nobody. It makes you feel like you're worthless. But through us ministering to him, he became the man that if he had had a chance, he could have been that man in life. But he didn't have a chance.